Hey, good morning, good morning. A little sprinkler to start off the daily dose this morning. You're like, what the heck? It's a good morning to you. Welcome to episode number, I believe this is 13 of the daily dose. Don't worry, it's not going to be just a sprinkler shot. There's a purpose. I got a good story behind that. Got the sprinklers going here in the yard. Good morning to you. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? Thought I'd do something a little different. In fact, actually, I didn't realize they'd be on right now. So welcome to another daily dose with Mark Avens, creator of the Lean Body Breakthrough. I'm an online coach, but I've been doing this daily dose. Now we're in episode number 13, 8 a.m. I'm a minute or two. Actually, I wasn't going to come out here in the front because it was a little noisy, but it's perfect for what I want to share with you today. So what's the daily dose? First off, I'll just wait till, oh, they just turned off. Look at that, perfect timing. So first off, when you come on here, hey, welcome, Cindy. When you come on, I'd love to know where you live in this world and how you're doing. It's Saturday. I actually just made a post, curious to know what everybody is eating on their weekends, Saturdays and Sundays. I'm not being the health coach, just want to know what your favorite brunch was. So if you saw that earlier, make sure, or if you haven't checked it out yet, go back and feel free to share what your favorite brunch is. I love brunch. When we lived in New York City, it was awesome. Brunch was like a big deal. Everybody go outside. We lived on the Upper East Side of New York, and they had some amazing brunches. In fact, you know, when you live in New York, you live to eat a lot of times. And unfortunately, I don't live there now because I'd probably be, I probably need a trainer myself. So anyway, while you're coming on, I'd love to know when you come on here where you live in this world. If you're catching the replay, feel free to share this. The only thing I ask, and I'll be sharing what the daily dose is, that you do share this with a friend if you find this encouraging to you. And that's exactly what the daily dose is for. One of the things I talk about all the time is health and fitness. And I realize that might be kind of the last thing you're thinking about right now, or maybe you're thinking about it, but realizing that just life is too hectic right now to get on a healthy path. And the good news is I have some cool things coming with regards to that. But the daily dose, to share with you what that is really a dose of encouragement. I say this in every episode, that I realize that you can start your days and you know, go through your days with daily doses of things, and it can be things that aren't so encouraging, discouraging, in fact, things that can cause you a lot of frustration and anger, and maybe feeling sorry for yourself, or feeling like a victim, or getting, you know, worried and scared and nervous. And those are all great feelings. But I also know that encouragement is something I think our entire world right now could use more of. So I'm going to provide that just in a few minutes each day, just sharing with me a little bit of thoughts on my mind to be of an encouragement for you. It's something that I've been doing on the health and fitness standpoint for really the past 25 years, and it's more related to people encouraging them to improve their health and get that weight off, maybe, or get their bodies and their health on a healthier track, a better track. So hey, welcome Rocky, welcome Patty, appreciate you. Cynthia, thank you. Hey Vinny, what's going on? Happy. I love seeing some familiar names and faces and people that, you know what I love about Facebook and just honestly technology. If there's something we can all be grateful for right now and be encouraged by, is having the ability to have technology. I see people doing like Zoom happy hours, and I'm in a men's group, then we're meeting in Zoom meetings, and even though it's not like face to face, literally like in person, I know there's really nothing, that's almost a lost art, I think. But gosh, I'm so grateful to have the chance to be able to connect with so many people that maybe I wouldn't even have done if things are just kind of back to normal, if you will. And I know we all realize, I think at the end of the day, we can probably realize that every day we don't know what's next. So really nothing is necessarily back to normal. Every new day is a new day. So I wanted to share with you that sprinkler. If you came on here, if you're catching the replay on this, you saw me, I had the camera on the sprinklers, and I have to share you a quick story because I want to talk to you about perspective. And I want to share with you about this shirt here. If you kind of see, and don't worry, it's backwards on purpose, but you see that? It literally says perspective, but it's upside down, if you see that. I shouldn't have rotated my phone. but I want to share with you a bit about perspective. And I know this being kind of for Christians being that day of waiting, if you will, wondering what's going to happen. Not that we don't know already, as far as in our faith in the Easter weekend. And it's not about the Easter bunny or chocolate, or putting on the Easter dress and going, or Easter outfit and going to church and stuff. Those are all good things, don't get me wrong. I loved those growing up. In fact, one year I remember as a kid, we'd get Easter baskets, and I remember one year I was a chocolate candy person, and I remember sitting down in my room eating the entire basket of candy, and I got so sick. Literally, like, all the Peeps, all of my giant chocolate bunny. We were grateful to get the basket, but of course I wanted it. I did not have perspective on that with regards to the candy, and I got so sick. But I still ate candy after that. That was just a little side note, but just keep it in perspective. I share with you a picture of the sprinklers. The sprinkler system, because it was something that made me laugh when I came out here. When we moved in this house, now we're in the same house. This is the house we've been in, moved here in 2002. It didn't look like this when we moved in, but my wife and I, we got married in 2002, moved here to Jacksonville, Florida, live in Atlantic Beach, Florida right now. Really amazing place. If you ever get to come out to Jacksonville, or if you even if you're a neighbor, maybe we don't know, we haven't connected, I'd love to connect with you. Maybe once things get back to the new normal and we're able to get out and about and we can meet for coffee or something like that. I'm thinking we're all kind of wanting to do anything if we can meet with people, and hopefully that will be coming soon. But we moved here, 18 years ago, and moved in this house. It was a complete mess. It was a dump. And moving from New York, we didn't grow up with sprinkler systems. Like, you didn't need a sprinkler system. And the yard was a mess. And we actually, did some work on it. We decided to put some grass in, and it was shade. We have a bunch of shade here. If you look up, there's lots of shade trees and stuff. We have all these oak trees and things. So it's kind of hard to grow grass in the first place. And I went, and of course, and I'm not super handy, but I can do some manual labor. So we laid grass down. I learned how to do that, and we put it down. And I didn't put a sprinkler system in. And then the grass burned up. And then a year went later, the grass literally died. I probably mowed it too short. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I'm a Yankee from up north, and I was transplanted here to Florida. And Florida's grass, first of all, is different. It's all thick grass versus nice soft grass up in north. Again, that's just a whole nother story. So anyway, that went, and another year or two went by, and I said, it must have been just the season. It was probably pretty hot, and we didn't get a lot of rain, so I just put grass down again. And I didn't put a sprinkler down. And I'm like, all right. So, you'd think after learning my lesson that I would actually put a sprinkler. And then that grass died up. Of course, what's going to happen. The grass died. And then finally, and even we've struggled over the years, and it feels like it's one of my nemesis. And again, I don't need to have a perfect yard, but I would like to have grass. And we finally got dialed in and got a sprinkler system. And you know what? It worked. And our yard looks beautiful. It's amazing. But it took me a while to think of that, and to realize that I needed to do what most people do here. Most people have to have nice lawns. They have a sprinkler system, right? Okay, so why the heck do you care about a sprinkler system? Keeping things in perspective. You see, my only perspective was from what I grew up with and up north, and having a yard that just looked nice. You had to mow it, but you didn't have to worry about sprinkler system. It got hot there, but just the way the climate is in the north compared to here in Florida, that wasn't necessary. So I wasn't thinking, I wasn't keeping perspective, but I finally learned my lesson and moved on there. And, it made me think of that kind of, I think it's called an idiom. I'm not an English professor. I even make mistakes when I type stuff in and make posts and things. And I get people to correct my grammar. That's cool. I love it. I'm definitely not an English major. I went into fitness, and English and fitness, no, two different things. So I can help you do push-ups, but you teach me how to spell, and, that's a whole nother story. But I would say is with the sprinkler system, it made me think of the idiom about the grass is always greener on the other side. And it's always thinking like, oh, well, and I'm going to relate these two in just a moment. So hang with me here. And let me just say welcome to, Emily, hey, and Danny, thanks for coming on here. Appreciate you. The Daily Dose, if you haven't heard this before, and I see some new names and some familiar names, is a Daily Dose of Encouragement. And if you didn't catch the beginning of it, listen to the end, go back and watch it. And if you like it, share it with somebody. That's all I ask. And we're talking about perspective, and the grass is greener. Well, my grass wasn't green for a while, and you know what? I always was envious. It was something. It was kind of funny as I look at even now. We go for a bike ride, and I see lawns that are beautiful and green and manicured and perfect. We went for a bike ride in this neighborhood. It was kind of near the ocean, the grass, and I know where I grew up too. There's some lawns and landscape that just manicured, perfect. And you're like, oh, you know what? That's so beautiful. That's that. And it's really easy to think of like the grass is greener. You've heard of that before. In other words, like people saying the grass is greener and going over to the other side. If only I was in there. And it's kind of hard to keep in perspective when we don't know the whole like situation, circumstance. So, and I'm not just talking about lawns here. I'm just talking about, hey, boy, that's my boy. That's Owen, a little cameo appearance from the dog who just got walked. My wife just took him for a walk. But perspective, keeping things in perspective, and it's so easy to always think like the grass is greener. I mean, like, oh, if I only had that lawn, or if I only had that home, or if I only had those things in my life. And that's kind of where the encouragement for right now I want to share with you. Hey, guy, what's going on? Isn't to encourage you is thinking about like the other saying that goes along with the grass is greener on the other side, and maybe thinking like, oh, like you might think, hey, you know, this guy comes on live all the time. Life must be good. We all got junk. We all got stuff for going on. And why I want to make this the point is because I know there's a lot of you that are, and even myself included, and it's all on my perspective. Back to the shirt, I'll share that in a moment. Is we don't know the whole circumstances, the situation. That's why I honestly avoid any kind of news and any of those. Really, I avoid it altogether. And I see a lot of people. I made a post about how much you watch the news, and I noticed a lot of people avoid it because we don't know we don't know the whole situation. And I feel, unfortunately, there's a lot of people that we can't trust. I even feel there's probably a lot of people that are going to take advantage of this. But again, it's all in perspective, right? It's all in perspective. And back to that grass is green on the other side. You know where the grass is green? The grass is greenest where you water it. That's at the end of the day where you water it. And my encouragement to you is keep in perspective of your own life. It's so easy for us to think, like for me to think of that beautiful manicured lawn. The grass is greener over that beautiful lawn that I looked at. But you know what? The grass is green right now. It is actually right now. And I'm going to share this with you. And you know why? Check this out. The grass is green in my lawn right here. Check that out right there. Cool. And I know that's not all grass, but you get the point. The grass is green, and guess why? Because I've been watering it. And I think right now the encouragement for you is that you can water your own grass, and whatever that looks like for you. And to keep it in perspective, you know what's really cool about this shirt? I have to share this and actually put this on. It's a little bit cold out. Yes, I live in Florida. This is a shirt, and if you notice, there's a little braille. In fact, on my arm here, there's a little braille. And it's pretty cool. It's actually, I think it's called Two Blind Brothers. And one time, this is such a cool story. So this t-shirt I bought, and I didn't know what I was getting. I didn't know. And that's their whole sales pitch is you basically go to a website that's black. You put in your size and you make an order. And it's Blind Brothers, right? You get it. And part of the proceeds goes to, now, this is not me necessarily promoting, but it's a really cool concept. And by all means, go support them. It's pretty awesome. But the perspective shirt, keeping things in perspective, and it's upside down, you know, which is really crazy, and backwards. And it's really like, think about that. Is like when we sometimes think about worrying about what other people have, worrying about the grass is greener, worrying about, you know, other people's opinions, all those types of things. It's really easy for us to lose perspective. And these guys, the Blind Brothers, which was really cool, they had a website that was black. And when do you order something that you don't even know what you're getting, right? You just basically have the faith and trust. Like, it must be pretty cool. These guys actually have a business. Well, I ordered a t-shirt. It's actually one of my favorite t-shirts. It's soft and it's comfortable, but I didn't know what I was getting. I just told them the size, and then I just trusted that was what I was going to get, and just kept things in perspective. So I thought that was pretty cool. And that's just kind of a side note. But I didn't know what we were going to get. Just like we don't know right now. We've been in lockdown for like 4 weeks, right? And we don't necessarily know what's tomorrow, what's going to happen. We don't know, you know, even if we do the best that we can to water our yard and to keep things in perspective, what's going to happen. And just as today being this Easter weekend, and to finish this dose of encouragement to you is there was a time this Saturday, this holy day, kind of they call Black Saturday, whereas between Good Friday and Easter Sunday, and not just being Easter weekend, really getting to know that. And I'm not going to get into that. It's a whole nother conversation, but I could say is this is a period of waiting where Jesus was laid in the tomb, and there was a waiting period, and even people that walked with him and knew him didn't really know what was going. They had an idea of perspective. They maybe were thinking maybe the worst, thinking the best, not knowing what's going to happen. I think like a lot of us are going through a moment in our season in life right now in 2020, not knowing what tomorrow is going to bring. So I'll just say two things, is to keep it in perspective. Keep life into perspective. You have right now, you have today. And as Christians, today can be a time of maybe just being at peace and being in quieting down the noise in your life, and quieting down and thinking about, what this Easter Sunday is about. And if you don't have faith, it can be just a moment in time that you take a break from all of the noise and you keep things in perspective and realize, back to the watering and the sprinkler that went on right when I turned this on in the beginning, is that it might be like the grass may be greener on the other side, but to be honest with you, the grass is truly greener where you water it, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be where you water it. So we can focus and think about, and I mentioned this in many of the episodes, is all the stress and all the anger and maybe even worry about jobs and all that stuff. And I get those are things that should be concerned about. But if that's what you're watering, if you're watering the stress, if you're watering, the disappointment, if you're watering the worry, if you're watering, if you're watering all the things, the unknowns, if you water, that's where the grass is going to grow. It's going to grow. You're going to grow more depression and anxiety and fear and stress and worry. And there's a difference, like I said, from being concerned than having all that stress built up inside of you. And I can say today may be a time just to be at peace and just have some calmness and just have some reassurance that chances are, if you've lived anywhere near the life I have, as far as the amount of years, you've probably gone through so many things. Maybe not this kind of storm, if you will, but I'm sure you've gone through storms. I've gone through several storms, and while I didn't think I would get through them, I'm sitting here talking to you today, and I've gotten through those. And for me, it was a faith component again, and not to talk about that at because again, I've been talking about that all week, but just to share with you is that you're going to get through this. But I really would highly think about today being a time that you can think about watering the grass that you have. If you don't have a sprinkler system, it might be hard for that. And that's kind of when I shared that, when I didn't have a sprinkler system, and guess what happened to the grass? It died, it burned up. And that could be the same thing on your hope. If you don't have something that can help you water the lawn, and for me, it's my faith. But if you don't have that, it may be getting around people, socially distance or physically distance, get on the phone with somebody, talk to somebody, maybe get in touch with a neighbor on the phone, call a relative, enjoy time with your family, even enjoy time to yourself. That could be the best thing that you can do to water your lawn and keep things in perspective of your day and of your weekend and the weeks to come. So that's all I have for today. I hope this was encouraging to you. And it is Saturday, Holy Saturday, and I hope you have a holy and blessed day today. Take care. We'll see you.